Okay, welcome to the Rise and Thrive podcast. We're here, Tim and I, once again doing the Sip Sang segments where we're recapping what we talked about last night in Sip Sang. And for those of you that don't know, Sip Sang is our weekly wine and consciousness group where we take on deep and diverse topics, all while enjoying a wine paired with the topic of the week. Last night we covered the topic of discipline. Discipline. Disguidepline. I had such trouble spelling that, so anyhow, now I know. Tim, why don't you let us know why you chose discipline, and we'll dive in.
Sure thing. Oh, God. Discipline, yes, discipline. Discipline is a topic I've wanted to actually cover for a while because I think there's a lot of misinterpretations about discipline. And I think a lot of people can be really, really hard on themselves because they don't feel like they're disciplined enough, for one. But like discipline has its place and it's the way to get things done, right? But I'm always wondered what's the difference between the discipline that kind of you have to push and the discipline that kind of pulls you, right? Because I look at the times, like I've wrestled with discipline my whole life. Like I've been super disciplined about things and really super inconsistent about things in my world. And when I look at the difference between the two, like the things that I was super disciplined about, I always had this deeper reason why I was connected to it. You know, there was something else going on. But so we opened up the discussion about having like that mundane mechanical discipline that we might do to force yourself to go to the gym every day or something like that. Like I think you said you've been going to the gym again and you've gone 13 out of the last 14 days or something like that.
Yeah, it's more like 14 out of the last 17.
Right. So still pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
And we opened up the discussion around discipline because we've had all sorts of different points of view around it. And so like our one member believes more in devotion than discipline. Right. And then if you have a devotion to something, it doesn't feel like discipline. And I really get that. And I'm just wondering, I wanted to open up and have a conversation around what everybody's experience about what discipline is.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And like, we had a new member or someone who's a new attendee come in last night, a couple of them actually. And the one, he's hardcore yogi guy, right? Which is, it takes a tremendous amount of discipline.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know if he sees it that way. I get the feeling he doesn't, because it's something he can't not do. James Taylor, the famous musician, has been around for ever and ever, for 40 or 50 years, singing the same songs over and over again. But he sings it the same amount of passion every time he plays it. And he got asked one time by a reporter, how do you do that? How do you play the same song over and over again and come through just as passionately as the first time you played it? And he said, I cannot not do this. Right. So ultimately that's where it came from. But, discipline at the beginning is how I learned how to play the guitar, and then it became fun, and,
Mm-hmm.
You get to start playing around, and then.
Yeah, it's kind of like that mechanical discipline serves a purpose to get you kind of over the hump, to create that, to turn it into a habit or something that you enjoy.
That's right.
Yeah. And then we also talked about a different kind of discipline, which came up in a talk I had with another one of my mentors,
Mm-hmm.
Where we're looking at discipline from a spiritual perspective, being committed to seeking truth.
Yes.
So it's a discipline from that perspective. You're not forcing yourself to get up at a certain time and do certain things, but it's a daily, lifelong discipline of
Mm-hmm.
seeking whatever you call truth.
Absolutely.
Right? Mm-hmm.
I loved when you brought that to the table, and it really helped me, and it brings forward this opportunity. Like, if somebody's watching this and they want to explore, and maybe they're having a challenge feeling that they're not, as disciplined as they could be or something like that. Well, I have this concept of having and inviting people to write their own doctrine, like a religious doctrine, but your own personal doctrine or a manifesto or whatever you want to call it. But it's like if you take and inspect your own beliefs about how you want to be in the world, you can actually find out that you have the kind of discipline that you never knew was possible. Like, so, your discussion helped me see that, like, the 28 emotional mastery principles that I put out on Facebook there a while back. They came out of, like, there are 28 principles that I work with all the time, and I'm completely disciplined with those things. Like, so when I catch myself judging somebody, I'm like, whoa, wait a minute. EMP number 1, nobody's misbehaving. Not even me.
Right.
And I'll self-talk my way through those things to get me back on track, because I'll feel if I go into a judgment or I go into a blame, or I'm feeling, I fall down into my own pity party or something like that. It's the discipline of going back to those things and choosing to make them true for you that are so powerful, and it works. Like, when it comes to that, I'm extremely disciplined in my own spiritual, groundedness around that stuff.
Right.
Yeah.
Something I loved about last night too was the feedback, because we had 2 guests, 2 potential new members, and their feedback was really awesome, just on the group itself.
Yeah.
One member said, they love the attention we all had to the topic of discipline. And I don't think this member gets that much in their life.
Yeah.
And then the other comment was, wow, it's so nice to have deep, maybe this one. It was,
she goes, I'm reading it. I got shot it on text she sent me. Really enjoyed getting out of my head and being involved with a conversation about something other than the weather or chore lists. Really cool format, very enlightening and inspiring.
Sweet.
Yeah, very cool.
Yeah, so I love that. And I love that, the new energy into our group just really pulled out really fun, interesting dynamics. And it often does when we have new members or new potential guests or members, whatever they are. Not always, though. So there is a right kind of person for Sipsang. Without a doubt.
Do you think it'd be helpful to speak to that, or?
Go for it.
Well, for instance, one of the guests last night has a strong yogic practice and doesn't even drink. Right. I was like, so when I got on a call with this person, I was like, so can you help enlighten me as to why you would be interested in joining a wine group when you don't drink? And the response was fabulous. What I was told was that this person completely and utterly believes, and I believe him because he was congruent when he said this, and he was like, I believe that there is no one way, no one path in order to realize the self or to gain a higher level of enlightenment, right? Whether it's a yogic practice or you can do it through wine or whatever. And that is a principle that I completely agree with, right? Sipsang is a dogma-free zone. So anybody that comes here and has a hard-rooted polar position on their own belief system and are coming in to try to convince people of a different way of being or something like that, that is not a good fit. But if you're the type of person who can be open to all points of view, right? Get into the discussion without judging the discussion, and then walk away with it, whatever it is that works for you, right?
Yeah.
So that's very much, one of the things that I believe in when I work with people is nobody's misbehaving, right?
Yeah, that's awesome. And I think, if somebody shows up at Sipsang, they're going to work their way out of it themselves. They'll realize that they're a good fit or not.
Yeah, and then we have systems in place to help them explore whether or not this is a good fit or not. And that decision can be made on both sides. And when it's a great fit, man, is it fun. Like, I love it. Like, I loved last night's conversation. It was really, really spectacular.
Yes, I agree. So anyhow, let's wrap this up.
Let's wrap it up.
We're wrapping it up. We're going to send people over to sipsang.com, or they can visit your website, timothyroy.com/sipsang.
Yeah, Timothy with a Y, Tymothy.
Right.
O-Y. There's 3 Y's in there.
Well, they might be seeing it on your page anyhow, or my website. So both of them will have your spelling. So
fair enough.
And when you do sign up, or when you engage with Tim, you're going to get a PDF talking about the 85 signs that you are a sipsanger. So we've come up with this document to help people kind of discern if it is right for them off the bat. You know, if this list just makes you cringe, it's probably not for you, you know?
Yes.
So with that said, thanks, Tim. Thanks for another excellent episode.
Thank you. I like to.
We're doing something new, and we're announcing next week's topic.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
Totally forgot about that. So why don't you do that?
Absolutely. So next the topic that we are going to invite our members to do, and what we do is we throw out this topic, and then it's the members' quest, if you will, their mission. We take the topic, interpret it, find out what it means to them, and then go try to pair a wine with it that they'll bring and share how they paired it and how they connected it to the topic on Thursday night. So next week, we're going to be doing beliefs.
Awesome. I'm surprised we haven't done that yet.
I'm surprised we haven't done that one too. This is a good topic. It's one that I realize now that I've wanted to do for a long time, but for some reason the time wasn't right until now.
It's even in our sipsang prayer.
It's even in our sipsang prayer. That's right.
Cool. Right on. Thanks, Tim.
Okay. Thanks, Jade.
All right. Ciao.
Bye now. Thanks.
Three, two, one. Well, hello and welcome to Rise and Thrive podcast. We have Tim, who's laughing his face off for no good reason. And we're here doing our weekly sipsang segment where we
Or
oh no, the giggles have arrived.
Oh God, it's good. I like it.
3, 2, 1.
I think I might leave this in. What the heck?